So guess what? Guess what time it is?
It's very tiny. Can't tell. Is it show and tell time?
Well, it's time for replacement.
Oh, is that a Lammy refill?
It is. So I was
careful. Don't squirt that stuff in your eye. It's a good thing you're wearing eye protection.
So the question is, and this is an important question actually. So I've put there we go. Now
was that blue?
It's blue black.
Oh yes. Here's my noodlers. My noodlers. This is just black.
Okay, so there's an important question. I know when I am putting the pen back together,
mm-hmm.
I have to make sure that when I'm holding it,
mm-hmm.
the word Lammy, is pointed up, and is aligned with.
I feel like you're going to be you're going to get a disappointing response to your very important question.
So my very important question is how do you do it? But I can already feel the response, sir, will be, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So yes. But okay, so why does it matter the orientation of where it says Lammy when you're holding the pen? Because I just don't have the brand loyalty. Maybe I'm wondering where this is going.
Not even. I don't know. It probably is just a weird little Cormac OCD thing.
This sounds exactly like OCD.
So yeah. When I'm holding it, holding it like so.
When you're holding it very oddly with your left hand. Jeez.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, I could point to you in a specific manner.
Yeah, I'm sure
but then when I put the cap on,
I do. I like to do that.
Okay. I'm not fully crazy. I just wanted to make sure I'm not.
I like
insane.
to align things. Oh, so where's my? Here it is. Okay.
See, so, I knew I was going to drag you into my insanity.
So I have an Acme Frank Lloyd Wright fountain pen that my dad gave me here, and I did not set this up. This was not a setup, but I don't know if you can tell, but the cap clip is perfectly aligned with the graphics of the bottom of the pen.
I see that.
Yeah, so that is important to me, but only when I close the pen. So when you'll be duly disappointed right now because I don't know where my Lammy is. It's gone.
You say lamb. It's weird that you
singular.
Say Lammy singular.
Singular. I'm not
I don't
like
even
you.
understand that.
I've always eyeballed the different outer surface of the Lammys and in want. I would like several different colors. I would like the yellow one. I would like the white one. I have a matte black one somewhere if I still have it. But I always say no, Cormac. I always have the self-restraint to say, no, I don't need another one. I have one.
That's not self-restraint. That's what if you set it down and somebody who says, I've always wanted a yellow one, picks up my yellow one and walks away with it. I'm not saying you would be that person.
Clearly, because I don't have a yellow one.
But... Speaking of which, where is my yellow one?
You just need to yell. Man yells at cloud. Where's my pen?
Evan, can you tell me where my yellow Lammy pen is?
Now you've got me really wanting
right
to find my black Lammy somewhere.
It's the addiction. It is the addiction.
I go through spurts of writing things down. Okay, so for example, if I were to open up this pen here on camera, you'll also notice something about the refillable cartridge. I don't have the refill cartridges like you. Mm-hmm. Can you tell? Can you see what's going on
Yes.
there? It's empty.
Well, I did see that you have your Noodler's ink.
I could
ready
refill
to go.
it on. That would make for a great podcast. Evan refills ink. I go through these phases of writing stuff down and then not writing stuff down for a very long time. I get the feeling you're different. You're probably always using it. I know you like your field notes and your reporter's notebooks and all these things. And I have a few, field notesy kind of books here, and I even have some larger scale. So here's the two different scales of notebooks that I'm using right now. One's about a half of an 8.5 by 11, and one's about what would you call that? I don't know. A quarter.
That is a 3 by 5.
And I haven't been using them for months now. I just haven't. I go between like putting everything in the computer so that I can search it, right? That's a very important thing to me. Or writing stuff down, and I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I switch back and forth, because I get value out of both of them for various reasons, different value.
Right.
I like just writing stuff down. Right, I like using my hands to do things, and at the same time, like it's, I don't know. You're OCD to like where the alignment of the label and the clip on the pen are, and I'm the opposite of OCD when it comes to like how I take notes and where I put them. They're in 18 different apps and notebooks, and I don't have a system for that. It's just kind of whatever I think of in the moment. That's where they go, and it's terrible. I actually can't find anything. So,
well, I don't know. I'm a writer, not a typer.
Yeah.
I have one other show and tell.
Okay.
We're going to do show and tell.
I'm going to look around. I don't think I have anything to show.
So I was suggested a book because Thom Mayne was just at the local architecture school, giving a lecture, and he was talking about a book that...
Who's Thom Mayne? Just giving you an opportunity to give some more context here. Just like the last podcast where I asked you, like, what is whatever you're talking about? What's a punch list?
We were talking about punch lists. And oh my God, this entire week has been all about talking about and griping about punch lists that
because of the podcast or because of real reasons?
Just real reasons.
Oh,
I mean, we're working on it's the Hopkins project. It's phased while occupied, and we're doing we're doing a partial substantial completion, and so we're doing a punch list. And when the architect's punch list is hundreds of items long, it should not be the architect's responsibility to be making that punch list. That is a contractor's deficiency list. I don't care what anyone says. I know what it says in the contract, and I'm supported by the contract. And we've been griping about it all week long. And I'm not even the one out there in the field doing it. Other people are out in the field doing it. It's just, they're like, well, we have to do this. I'm like, why are you doing this? But anyway,
because they don't understand.
Sidetrack.
But you digress.
But I digress.
Back to Thom Mayne and whoever that is.
Thom Mayne. So Thom Mayne, whoever that is. That is a guy who I will always call his firm by the name that he used when he was giving a lecture. The pronunciation.
Okay.
When he was presenting, when I was in architecture school, well over 20 plus years ago.
Everybody knows how good your memory is, though.
Well, it was morphosis, not morphosis. And
I bet this would be easy to look up. I bet he's done it both ways. We should find videos online and just make a video of clips of him saying his firm's name in different
montage. There you go. Thom Mayne, right. Thom Mayne. But anyway, so he was giving this lecture, and I wasn't there, wasn't able to go. A friend of the show, most of the time affectionately referred to as Coffee Boy.
He actually said it's in the mail to me. It has not shown up. So the mail, there must be something wrong with the mail.
That he doesn't get a name. I was almost about to give his name.
Right.
Nope. He gets no name. Anyway, but he did give a suggestion. And it's this.
Okay.
As we can see here, hopefully everybody can
You got to
see
say it too
this.
for the listeners.
I'm going to say this for the listeners and then not just the viewers, but the listeners, it's 100 books.
Oh, it isn't.
From 1900 to 2000.
It doesn't say 100 books.
You're right. Should I 100? A book
You got
that has the.
You got a golf clap for that performance.
That is fantastic. 100 buildings. It's been late.
Yeah.
Been talking about
It's
punch
been-
lists all day.
It's been a big week.
Yeah.
100 buildings. Okay.
100 buildings from 1900 to 2000. And from
I'm
what it was
surprised you didn't
explained,
say 100 years. I mean, it was right there.
it was right in the title. I mean, it's right there. So maybe it should have been 100 buildings for 100 years.
Yeah.
We'll
there you
go with that. From how it was explained to me in the lecture that was given, is that basically there was basically reached out to all of the Starchitect friends of Tom's and basically did a survey of like, what are your favorite buildings of the last 100 years?
Mm-hmm.
And they compiled ranked them based off of the frequency of the response. And so like say if I'll go with number one in the book, and it's interesting how it's broken down too, but number one in the book is Villa Savoy.
Uh-huh.
And
Makes
so
sense.
I'm assuming that based off of the number of entries that Villa Savoy received is what gave it its ranking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't see anywhere in here where it said, here's just the 100, and this is based off of in no particular order. But it was kind of interesting because then it goes to Ronchamp, then it goes to the German Pavilion, also known as the Barcelona Pavilion.
This is like the who's who of architectural of buildings, and it's in the formative years that we all learned about these, right? So
Right.
I can see how they made such an impact. Yeah.
One of the things that was part of the conversation is he's noticing more and more younger architects are not using historic precedents for research when it comes to precedent studies for buildings. And that was I believe that was the impetus for this book, is to kind of illustrate that there are more than just what you find on Google. And funny enough,
Well, it used to
so-
be slide carousels, right? In architectural
Oh
history
my
class
gosh.
is where all these came from.
It's so funny that you say
I mean, I slept through those classes. I will come clean right now, and we recently had a conversation about this when we were at the AIA conference, but that was
Yeah.
the class I learned how to sleep in school in. But I still fondly remember those classes. I mean, and those slide carousels, and like my architectural history teacher coming to class carrying slide carousels, and the lights go out and the slides
Oh, yeah.
start, and that sound of the slides during the monotone lecture, like it's all flooding back in right now.
And here you'll see Villa Savoy.
Yeah. Pause. Long pause. Pause for dramatic effect.
Its white plaster punctuates the green background. I don't know. I don't even know who I'm.
Yeah, I wonder who's the caricature here.
Because that professor is certainly not anyone that I was. It was actually kind of interesting. It's like, so my architectural history professor. So I had gotten out of the Army. I started going to college, and I started my college experience at Troy State University, which is now Troy University, a small university in Alabama. It's basically because I was sort of put on a waiting list for Auburn because I was a transfer student, and so there's a very small number of people that go to get transferred in. So I just started school. Just wanted to get. I'm out of the Army. I need to do something. So I went ahead and started school somewhere else.
I need more physical, mental punishment. I'm going to go to architecture school.
Well, I mean, I was starting, so I did all of the basics, and that's also where I was majoring in archaeology
Oh, that's
and
right.
anthropology. So
Not
that
architect.
was
You hadn't gone full punishment level yet. Okay.
I actually, what it seems like is that I hadn't been able to flip past the ARs in the
You didn't
career
get
catalog.
you didn't get very far.
Army, architecture,
Right.
archaeologist. Or wait, yeah, reverse those last two, but still, I stayed in the ARs. Apparently, there's more. From what I understand, there are more careers out there. I just haven't figured them out, and I haven't pursued any of them. Yeah, there's still time.
You're right.
Who
There's
knows?
still time. Yeah, you can get to
Um,
you can get to astronomy and astrology. You could become an astrologist, right? Yeah.
But yeah, so I started there, ultimately transferring in, but it was just, and the history professor, because I was also me just wanting to kind of explore everything and also take some of the 101 classes too. But my professor of history at Troy State, then when I transferred to Auburn to start taking architecture classes, I walked into my first architectural history course, and guess who was the professor there? The same guy he had transferred from Troy State to Auburn to become the architectural history professor
Okay.
at Auburn.
Was that a good
And
thing?
I was just like, I mean, the one good thing was at least I knew him. And it was funny is because everybody's like, oh my gosh, Professor Kenworthy's so tough. And I was like, he's not tough once you get to know him. And they're like, well, you just had, a year and a half of his courses at your other school, so of course you know him. I'm like, oh, there you go. There's my leg up.
There you go.
But I mean, the one thing that I will say, and the reason why I bring that up is that, this whole notion of not really looking at precedent studies,
Where we've come from.
where we've been, kind of the language that is developed from 200 years ago to 100 years ago to 50 years ago to 25 years ago. And there are so many stark evolutions in architecture throughout, let's just say, the last 200 years, that to ignore them seems silly. That we don't do that. And so that was the impetus of this book, is that it was, hey, let's not forget that there is, at least in this one, and we've talked about it on after my road trip, is like what makes a building lovable. And looking at the list of all of the people who contributed to this book, and then what's interesting about it, and you can't really tell, and for the listeners, what's interesting about this is it's a black and yellow cover. It's a black, yellow letters, and with a black background, and there's these dots that start from the back of the book to the front of the book, and what those dots represent is the voting from, and there's a list of all of the people who were on this kind of like jury, and then so there's all of these people, and then based off of like the ranking, there's a dot next to them of if they voted for that particular building or not, or had submitted that particular building. And what was really interesting about it is just it kind of like diminishes as it gets further into like the 100, like 98 through 100 and stuff. But it is definitely, I would say that it is 100% filled with North American and European avant-garde architecture. There is nothing about kind of like the history or tradition, which is interesting, because my own personal opinion is that where there are things here that are cutting edge, they sort of ignored that some of the buildings that came before them that were kind of were the grandfathers of, say, like high rise. There's nothing in here about Louis Sullivan and being the grandfather of the modern skyscraper.
It's not a history book. Yeah.
But there's a lot of modern skyscrapers. Well, maybe not necessarily that, but if you think about it, like there's modern office buildings in here, right? So what was the precursor to the modern office building. Let's say the Wainwright building. And which, by the way, did I tell you this? The Wainwright building is currently being auctioned off by the state of Missouri.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think, yes,
that
we
was
did.
super cool.
And
It was at
it's still-
$50,000 or something last time we looked. Right?
well, there was, no, it was $50 million. Or,
$50
sorry.
million?
No. $5 million
$5
was the current bid, and you could increase by
$50,000 commitment.
$50,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to, of course, hunt this down and
Yeah,
see.
you got to pull it up. See
the
where we're
current.
at.
I do need to. Yeah, I do need to update the.
Follow up with that.
So
So this book is compiled by just asking people what their 100 favorite buildings were.
I would say most loved buildings.
Okay. And so then you're basically saying everybody submitted a lot of buildings, and like did everybody submit 100? Is that the idea? And like whatever the list of
yes.
people that were asked, all 100 buildings that are in this book were submitted by every single person on that list, or no? You're just saying he asked 100 people and they whittled it down to the 100 most cited buildings on their list.
Yes.
And everything beyond the 100 fell off. Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
that's it. Real-time update. Now we're a week later, and the Wainwright State Office Building is still hovering at $5 million. And you still have till August 29th to place your bid.
Let's get on this, people.
And if there's anybody out there interested in providing me with a little bit of like seed money for it, $7 million.
What would you do with the Wainwright building?
It's a good question.
And could you stop at just one? I mean, you have a bunch of Lammies. I don't know if you might need more Wainwrights as well.
I would have to come up with a Wainwright series. Actually, I think that this pen
that's pretty much Wainwright color right there. Yeah.
It matches the color of it. So
Yeah.
I think that I would see if Lammy would come up with a special edition Wainwright, so then it would have kind of like maybe some of the intricate details that the Wainwright building has on there.
That would be cool. Do a
now.
mashup. So I have questions about this book, this 100 Buildings book.
Yes.
So of course Thom Mayne put a book together, right? Because
yes, he did.
Because this is basically in response to people looking up precedents on Google, right? So
or just not using precedents at all,
or
which
not
is
using
another
precedents,
one of
right?
his,
so it's a book which
arguments.
nobody reads books anymore, right? Nobody reads books anymore, in air quotes. Cormac holds it up. Cormac also writes with a pen on paper, turns out.
I use a mimeograph machine.
Yes, I make copies with my Mimeo. So, okay, it's a book. It's an odd format. Like what would you say the dimensions of this book are? It's like 4 by 12 or something, 4 by 10.
Yeah.
It's and how thick?
Is.
It's about 1.5 inches thick. It looks like about a 2 by 4 thick. Yeah.
It's about 1 inch thick.
Okay, so it's a really interesting, weird format, of course, right? Because it's Thom Mayne again, right? So it can't be. There's just nothing standard about this. And so, what's it like? Because it's not like a lay flat binding, is it? So it's like all the pages are glued to the binding, right? So is it?
No, I mean, in theory, it's supposed to be a lay flat.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
I was just wondering, like, what, because skinny books like that they're just not good to hold open. But it looks like that they got over that with the binding.
Yeah. So give me a number. Let's see what.
83.
83. Sure. I got the wrong direction there. 83. Okay. The Van Nel Factory in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And if I was sitting in, Johannes Brinkman.
Does not ring a bell.
it has a very Bauhausian feel to it.
Bauhausian. All right. So let's
Nin-
flip the
19
number. Go ahead. What's the year?
1926 to 1930.
Okay. This is this was architectural history class, right? What's the name of the building, the location, the years, the architect. This is what we had to memorize. Okay, so if we flip the number and go 38, so let's go much earlier in the.
So 38.
Let's see earlier, and maybe we've got something.
It's not earlier in history.
No, I just mean earlier in the book.
But it is the assembly. I've never been able to pronounce this. Chandara.
I picked that one on purpose.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just to show what a fool you are.
Le Corbusier, 1951 through 1964.
All right. Yep.
That's the one with the kind of hood scoop roof.
Yeah.
All concrete.
Of course.
Pretty.
Of course.
Yeah. Duh. Okay, so I'm going to hold it up for a picture, and maybe we'll drop it in there. And
Copyright infringement.
Copyright infringement and all of that other stuff. But
this is for educational purposes. We're fine.
It is really kind of interesting when you see all of these mid-century modern buildings that have these kind of reflecting pools that kind of surround them. And I don't know how many you've been to, so...
or even modern buildings. There's several modern ones. The glass jewel case sitting in the middle of the serene pond.
And usually, with this one is no exception, that is more or less a roof structure over some other occupied space below it. And I don't know, the few that I've seen were mid-century, so I'd probably say that they were maybe late 50s, early 60s, and I'm thinking of a specific one on St. John's campus in Annapolis, Maryland by Richard Neutra, and then another one on Wayne State campus by... I just blanked. I just had it in my head. Anyway, so there's these, but every one of them are empty. And you know why they're empty? Because they're leaking.
Building problems,
leaking all over the place.
There's a much newer example in Southern California where I used to live at one of the colleges, and it's a Vignoli building, and it has the glass cube in the middle of the reflecting pond. And the reflecting pond is 2 inches deep or something. It's not like it, but it's got a black bottom. You can't tell where the bottom of it is, and it's really beautiful, especially when at night, or at dusk when the jewel case is lit up from within, and it's just this lantern and perfect mirror reflection and all this stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that pond empty. I keep calling it a pond, and when I think of it's not really the right word. The reflecting pool was empty with all the raised pavers from around it taken out, and they're trying to solve drainage problems because there's occupied space underneath this thing.
I don't know why they do that. I don't know why that seems to be. It's just like, oh, we need more space, so let's just build it under. Ooh, got an idea. Let's make the roof a swimming pool.
Right.
It's some silly stuff.
It's for the opulence, and that's why we do it.
So I'm wondering where I was going with that is I'm wondering how many times that's been emptied for that very reason. Which, I mean, we talked about this in the last shows. You got to applaud all of these adventurous architects that try to do something that was probably well before technology caught up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, now we've got green roofs that have all of these different systems that are part of the overall things to create kind of like a bathtub with a leak detection system and all of these other things that go as part of it. And so it is expected that if by some chance there is a leak, you're going to catch it quick. And that none of that technology existed back then.
Of course.
Probably what they did was that the black of the reflecting pool was probably tar, like straight out tar.
Right. Toxic.
What is that? What's that smell?
Yeah.
But But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because this kind of plea for architects and architectural designers to look at the past and look at some of this is kind of interesting because, especially coming from an architect who is an avant-garde architect in his own right and standing at the base of the federal building in San Francisco, I can't put my finger on what buildings from the past would have been kind of like the precedent study.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
and I don't think you could trace that kind of thing directly. I mean, you can sometimes, I guess, but with Thom
Sure.
in particular, I don't think you could trace that. But it doesn't diminish
And,
the fact that he knows that stuff.
and
right?
I didn't mean that there had to have been.
Yeah,
or,
there's no
that was
direct
a,
lineage,
yeah.
right? I mean,
Right.
his own buildings are the lineage of these projects. It's the evolution of morphosis, if you want to say it the right way. But the idea of putting this book together, how is it? What do you agree with his thesis? And do you
do.
think that the output or this resource is valuable? And is it something that our listeners should pick up with maybe we'll put an Amazon affiliate link in our show notes for this one so they can help out the podcast and purchase a book that they'll never read. But is it a good table coffee? Is it a coffee table book? Is it something that you actually read? Like give me an idea of how you've started to consume this.
So two different ways I've been consuming it. One, just flipping through quickly just to see what buildings are actually what made the top 100 list.
Mm-hmm.
And since I've been working on some writing of my own on doing kind of a narration of my road trip that I took, I was looking to see how other people kind of give these brief kind of narratives of a building. These are buildings who are those loved buildings, who are those what set the stage for the Starchitects and what set the stage for all of these different design trends and everything else. And I'm just curious how they write about them. Because
is that what it is? Like a collection of blurbs from the different contributors that just show up within the project page?
Yeah, because, and again, if somebody is looking at this on YouTube, basically it's a couple of graphics and sometimes a couple of photos, sometimes just one photo with a little bit of a floor plan, and then basically just a small single paragraph that actually, funny enough, if I'm flipping through all of these, is roughly around the same number of words for each of the paragraphs because they all look like they're formatted in the same little small cell, and just a quick blurb of what the building is. And it really just talks about it in that very kind of I am intending to put Evan to sleep with my slideshow type format.
I didn't sleep at all, I swear.
Stockholm Public Library, though. Do you know who that is? You've seen that, right?
I'm trying to think if I went there. I don't think I did.
Did you go to Stockholm, Sweden?
I did go to Stockholm. But
did you see a building that was square at the first 4 floors and then a round turret was coming up through the center of it?
I don't think so.
Well,
I need to look it up, I guess.
May I say that you missed something very special. It's so interesting because, looking at some of these, you got the Pompidou Center, Johnson Wag's headquarters, Farnsworth House, and I have not yet read the write-up of the Farnsworth House, but I have my own write-up of the Farnsworth House that I did when I looked at it, and it's both awe and disturbed. I don't know. Not
Yours
really
or
disgust. Mine. Because it's one of those ones. As I told you this, it's that one of all of the buildings that I have visited to date in my lifetime is one that baffles me. Here is a $42,000 house that, unlike, say, a Wright building or some other architects, is not, it's on the landscape, not of the landscape, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes to preserve something, it might be okay to move it. And the reason I say that is because it's on the banks of the Wisconsin River, and I believe it's called the Wisconsin River. Anyway, it's on the banks of a river, and it has been flooded countless times. The windows have broken out.
That's just part of it.
But so for
It's an expensive proposition.
an original budget of $42,000, and yes, that was not the end budget; that was the beginning budget.
Right.
But for something that started at $42,000, for them to have sunk tens of millions of dollars, literally sunk, on preservation and protection of. There was even a proposal kicked around that they wanted to basically put it on an elevating platform.
Oh, that'd be fancy.
That
Got it up out of the way when it needs to.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're walking, and they're like, oh, well, it was placed here because it's just outside of the 100-year floodplain. And then you're thinking to yourself, yeah, how's that working out for you? As one. And two, it is literally on the lowest part of the site. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is this on the outside of the 100-year floodplain? Because when you look just up the back of the site,
there's higher places all over around 100-year floodplains, Carl.
Well, there's a lot, like every other space there. And so that one is just one of these, and I'd love to hear anybody's take on this, on why that one building is so loved, so revered, that it has like, to save it, to preserve it, to continue to keep the upkeep on it and everything else, is costing tens of millions of dollars. It's tens of millions, not quite in the 100 million yet, but I mean, it's a single room, house. It was
is it in your book?
In this book?
Yeah, I'm sure
yes,
it is.
It is.
So what does it say in there about it?
Well, you're asking me to.
I'm asking for story time with Cormac right now.
You're asking me to read when it's dark in here and my reading glasses. Or
get your little flashlight out. Get your lantern.
You know what? You say that, but thank you, our cat, for the pen that includes a
flashlight. You got a torch.
A flashlight.
A torch for those across the pond.
A single-story geometric form that you
got to read into the mic. You got to read into the mic here. You got story time. We need the deep voice.
A single-story geometric form that exemplifies the notion of dwelling in its simplest of states. This weekend retreat materializes Mises' favorite dictate, less is more. Conceived as a glass pavilion in a natural setting, the concept uses the surrounding environment as its protective shield. Yeah, that was well done there. Oh wait, sorry, you don't want the
real-time analysis. Yeah, we're not asking for the interjections here.
The open prismatic unity is composed of 3 horizontal planes: podium, floor, and roof slab. And let me just tell you, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, really. I mean, just the simplicity and the cleanliness, and you see that concept, and it is well executed. And yes, we're
there you go.
Revisiting but it's still one of these things. And then basically it just says the interior is divided only by 2 objects containing bathrooms, kitchen, utility space, fireplace, and storage. The other small bedroom unit. Wait, really? That's weird. Anyway. Despite the visual modernity, the Farnsworth House can be read as a reinterpretation of a classical idea, a translation of a plinth, support, and architrave. Okay.
minimized.
That's the write-up. So
I have a feeling that book is full of delicious archispeak.
it probably is. It is probably just dripping full of it.
Right.
So that's the write-up. And so that's the write-up that just basically does a quick synopsis of what it is, not why it is.
Oh, here you go. I'm gonna propose an idea here. Is that obviously who the author of the book and the contributors to the content of the book are very much going to be, I can't ever remember if it's the left brain or right brain, but they're the designers. They're right. And here you are coming at this from a functional aspect of the project manager side of your brain, because you're totally both.
Yeah.
And you do like to achieve that balance. And I would say that the people who are authoring this content don't. I mean, of course, I think every piece of architecture balances that pretty successfully to some extent, but to
Right.
lesser of an extent on the functionality side, from maybe a performance and a maintenance, especially. When was that built? When was that project done?
See,
Obviously within the last 100 years, but
well, clearly in the last 100 years. So it was number 6 on the hit parade, 1945.
1945. Okay, so I mean we're at 80 years
I did just
basically.
go on a tour with it.
Yeah, we're at 80 years.
Yeah.
Most architecture today doesn't even last that long, right?
Well,
Most architecture today doesn't get tens of millions of dollars pumped into it all the time either.
my house is older than that.
To sustain it. Okay, there you go.
Mine's in 1941.
Yeah.
And look, what I'm really, seriously, the thing that I'm really, and it's not a struggle, it's just like, it's just a desire to understand. Because like we have this kind of artistic like affinity for things. And especially as architects, we do have the left brain and right brain. And so there's this kind of artistic side that's like looking at it, and they're seeing the beauty of it, and depending on who it is and what their own sensibilities are, it strikes them as like, ooh, I love this. This is amazing. And everybody's is typically different, or there is a similarities, obviously, with this 100, I don't think it's 100 architects, but let's just say maybe it's around 40. It looks like the list is that are doing this. And so there are some similarities to their sensibilities. And you go up to this, and of course you look at it and you say, this is amazing. You know, you see this kind of like very simple, delicate building that exudes the concept. You know exactly what he was going for, and it was achieved beautifully, pristinely. Mm-hmm. What's also interesting about it is that he actually wanted like exposed bolts and the connections and all of that other stuff, and it was actually Edith Farnsworth who pushed for something far more finished, because she snuck into the house that he wouldn't let her see, even though it was her house, and slept over the weekend and said, yeah, you got to do something about this. There's
what a weird relationship they had, right?
My gosh, yeah. Well, you know that. Well, she sued him, and then he ended up suing her over this house, and so it was a very interesting relationship.
Do you know for sure that he is the one responsible for the siting of the building?
Possibly, I don't. I mean, they talked about it as a mutual relationship early on, and so I would say that they probably both had some say in it.
Yeah.
You would think that somebody who typically builds in steel, that thing that water loves to corrode, would probably have voiced a little bit more of opinion of say, hey, I got an idea.
It wouldn't have been any better if it was made out of concrete or wood. Saying.
I'm not saying build it out of a different material. I'm saying maybe not put it on the banks of a river that, could potentially, and has proven to basically flood every friggin' year.
Well, the funny thing is that the reason I bring this up, because we don't know the answer, right? And the architect's getting the blame here. And there was a great tweet by Marilyn Modinger on Twitter in the last week. I retweeted it because I thought it was so good. It's like everybody, it always comes down to blaming the architect. And it's like there was this picture of a multifamily building, right? And we all know what those look like nowadays. And it was a very bad version of that.
Stacked
right?
boxes.
Yes, with multiple slightly varied planes of different materials on the facade, right?
Yes.
And with a lot of punched windows, and it was absolutely terrible.
Yes.
And the thread that she was putting out there was like, stop blaming the architect. You have no idea why it turned out like this. Right?
You and I have had this conversation.
We've all had projects that have gotten VE'd to death.
Sure.
We've all had projects that the client asked for something, demanded something totally against your every fiber, right? So, I mean, and yet it's like who else are you gonna? You're not gonna blame the owner. You're not, and you're not gonna blame the contractor because it's the architect's vision that gets built. I don't even know if this is true or not, but it's like somebody's got to take the blame during these analyses, and it's going to be the architect, even though the architect probably got the least money possible out of that whole scenario, right? As far as value for their service.
I'm honestly glad that you're bringing this up, because architects usually are hard on architects. And the funny thing is, as we've said in the past, most of the time we know all of the constraints that we deal with on a daily basis. So we know that those architects were dealing with the exact same thing.
Yeah, it happens.
And yet, for some reason, we as architects blame other architects. Now, I can give you one example for absolute fact, and you know this, and everybody else in the world knows this, of an architect who had the sole responsibility of siting a building because it was not where the owner wanted that building. And yet it was put exactly where the architect wanted it. And
Fallingwater.
Tens and tens of millions of dollars later to repair, restore, and support this thing.
And loved by the two people on this show.
I love it. I absolutely. There is yes, but it is definitely one where you're just like, okay, so if
another interesting relationship between the architect and the owner.
Yeah. Well, you remember in the conversation that we had with Angelo when we were talking about it, and he always gets kind of ticked off about the way that story is always told about him basically just popping out an idea. Well, I was just recently watching a documentary on Frank Lloyd Wright. It was kind of one of those little two-parter American history kind of not quite a Ken Burns, but still on a PBS. Anyway, they talked about that, and they actually told the same story. However, what was interesting about it is that a lot of the still living interns or apprentices that worked for him and worked during this particular period and that particular building, they all substantiate that story, that he did basically pull it out of his hindquarters. Subconscious
is
he definitely pulled it out of his subconscious, because he'd been mulling and thinking about it and thinking about it and mulling it and all of this other stuff. And he did not, according to the documentary and according to the apprentices, there wasn't a backroom studio that he was feverishly doing all of this work on. He literally did everything within the 3 and some odd hours that it took to get from wherever they landed to the studio to Taliesin. He just pulled so much stuff out, and he was a gifted draftsman. He was a gifted artist. He was a gifted renderer. I mean, he studied under honestly one of the best in Louis Sullivan, and he was just feverish in even the documentary. Yes, I was totally nerding out, and I said, "Ooh, let me go back. I just finished watching Right. Now let me go back and watch something of the guy who taught him.
Mentor. Yeah.
And so I went and watched the documentary on Louis Sullivan, and what was amazing about it is that even when they talked about Wright as an apprentice to Sullivan, was just an amazing draftsman and an amazing artist and stuff. So, I mean, you can't really take a lot away from this guy. I mean, sure, he had an ego bigger than the Guggenheim, but still.
What were those quotes you just shared with me that were those from that? Or was
actually, yes, that I did send you off a where is it? I don't know. Where's my book? I wrote it down. Because I can't remember things.
Write it down with your Lammy and your notebook.
I did. Lammy. Notebook.
There it is.
Remember the seed germ, sorry. I can't even read my own handwriting. Remember the seed germ. And essentially it is, what is interesting about it is, in a way, that is his version of the idea to execution. Remember that everything comes from that seed germ. That's
the whole idea of a partie diagram, right? It's
yeah.
What is the language of this project? What is the guiding principle that you need to be able to see the thread throughout the entire execution of the project?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
There was another funny one though. There was another egotistical, pompous.
That one. That was actually. I'd have to look it up because I was texting you as I kept pausing it and rewinding it every time I heard it, just so that I could get it down properly.
I'm looking right now. Here you go.
It was
the job of the architect to create a vision of nature that is more natural than nature itself.
And yes, that was a Frank Lloyd Wright.
That's great.
He also now this one right here was
amazing.
Yeah. What was even the other one was, as long as we have the luxuries, the necessities will take care of themselves.
There you go. That's the perspective.
I mean, that is living. That is LIVIN. And if anybody can tell me the quote, the movie that I just quoted by...
I can't. That's a good reference. Is that what you're saying?
It is a reference.
All right.
And I'm not going to say it. I want people to say
everybody.
it. I want everybody to comment.
Well, yeah. Okay, so we've learned you like Lammy's. This is a good book.
We learned that I have a very particular way of refilling my Lammy's.
I mean, we're architects. We align things. That's what we do.
We align things, yes.
That's a good book, 100 Buildings. We'll put a link to it that everybody can buy from our Amazon affiliate link, which won't cost anybody anything, but they'll earn Archispeak a couple bucks, maybe, if we're lucky.
Sure.
And Cormac is still on the fence about the Farnsworth House. And
I'm not on the fence. Okay, so I'm definitely not on the fence. I am still... It is standing there. It has answered everything that I asked of it, which was, why are you lovable? However,
I can't wait to read this.
I am really I'm really interested in it. Really just kind of it was the seed germ for me of thinking about why we preserve buildings and spend so much money for that. What is that emotional connection, that love affair of that particular piece that we're saving? I mean, good example is that we've downtown Detroit, the Michigan Central Station was Detroit's version of Grand Central Station. It had been dilapidated for years. In fact, you could see it in the Batman v Superman movie where Batman and Superman are fighting in this ruined building. Guess what that ruined building was? The Michigan Central Station. And now Ford purchased it and completely renovated it, brought it back to its former glory, dumped tons and tons of millions of dollars into it.
Yeah, rich benefactors. That's what architecture
And
needs, right?
Yes, but
Loaded benefactors.
and so but we see so many other buildings of equal or more historic prominence being demolished all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, the Wainwright building could very well be, depending on the outcome of the auction and everything. I've read articles where it can actually be demolished by the new owner. And not saying that it should be or anything like that. Obviously, if I bought it, I would save it. I have no money for it, so but I'm now, I guess, on this like journey of trying to figure out why architecture is so important, what makes buildings lovable, and what makes certain buildings savable when other buildings are disposable.
Sure. Yeah. It's like the popular
It's
kids, right? They get all the
Yeah.
attention.
Exactly. And that's it.
Well, we've traversed much ground in this episode. Thank you for kicking off the conversation with your weird OCD.
You're welcome.